I'm going to try something here for my Tacoma that should hopefully help with backing up and reverse lights and all that. So on my previous 4Runner, I had wired up some external lights up to the top so that when I put it in reverse, I had some top lights coming on as well to really light up the back area there. Well, with the truck, it's hard to do that, and then of course it would have to go on the shell here, and if I take the shell off, then now you don't have the lights. But here we have these fun little items here. So these are something that came from Cali raised LED. So one thing you can say about their products is, number one, they're probably pretty good, and number two, they're awfully expensive, much more than you think they should be. But here are some brackets to mount lights for the back of the Tacoma. So you can see these are going to go right here using these existing bolts, which is very nice. And you've got a nice mounting platform for a little LED pod or whatever that are so easy to get these days. So I'm going to see about putting these in and see how that works. So of course you want to get these as a pair, and they've got the matching set here for the driver's side and the passenger side. So with both of them, they're over $50. So quite something for a little piece of metal, but it appears to be engineered fairly well. So we'll take a look and see how this goes. Now I hope this makes some sense and you can see that. This is the backup camera image in my rearview mirror. So that's how things are currently with the lighting setup that I have, which actually does have some additional lights from a lighting strip below the tail gate and all that. So that's what I'm seeing now at nighttime with my backup lights on. And that's the view through my rear window and my camper shell in the back. Now I've actually removed the tinted film from the middle window because it was just so dark at night, so I could see a bit more. But here, at least from the camera, I'm not really seeing much at all. Now here are the lights getting ready to be installed. As you can see, the wires that they come with are really pretty short, and they're in this nice protective outer cable. So what I had to do was splice some additional wires on here to give them some length, so they would reach down to where I need to splice them into the into the tail light. And I'm trying to get better with my electrical connections. And these are some butt splices. I just got these at Walmart, but they're butt splices with a little heat shrinkable wrapping around them. So you can see I had to cut open this outer cable a little bit just so that I could get enough space and put these on here. But I've just crimped these together and used a little propane torch to get them nice and sealed. So hopefully that'll be some good protection. You want to keep it safe from any kind of water or moisture getting in there. But just a little simple splicing here so that I can lengthen the cables and get them out to be as long as they need to be to fit in the light assembly in the back of the Tacoma. After trying it on the truck, I'm having a problem I was hoping not to have, and that's the light interfering with the back hatch on the camper shell. So you can see that with this mounting bracket here, it has this long sort of slot where you can adjust where it goes. And I tried to put it over as far as I could, but still was interfering with that door opening and closing. So I had to take a router and kind of grind away and extend this slot here over to one side to get that to work and fit somewhat. So I'll show you what that looks like, and it's not the best solution, but let's see how it turns out. So here's the light in place on the truck, and you can see I've taken the cable and fed it through to come down here. There's probably a nice place in there with the light assembly it can go to. So this was the problem I'm trying to avoid, and there's a little bit of scraping right there as I open up the back door here. So or the window. So You can see I've got it shoved over pretty far to the edge here and turned it a bit. And so, at least with this type of light, that's about the best I'm going to get. And again, this is a 3-inch LED pod, and I wouldn't want to go any larger. And to go smaller, you might have to get a completely different kind. And following lots of tutorials you can find, I've removed these 2 bolts, the bottom one there and the top one, 2 10mm bolts, so then I can pull out the whole lens assembly and get to the wiring and the bulbs themselves. Okay, it took some doing, but it's going to pull straight out. And then right down here, this is the backup bulb. So while I'm here and I have this all open, I thought I might actually replace the bulb itself with an LED bulb and try and get some brighter light out of here as well. So I just have more light all around. These wires are all kind of really stuck in there nice and tight. And you really kind of have to pull this wrapped set out of this little hook here. But here the bulb, just kind of twist it counterclockwise and it pops out. There's the old bulb there. And then here is the LED bulb. I think this is a 921 that I'm going to replace it with here. We'll see if that does any better. So I put the gear in reverse and have a nice bright backup light here. So I will put that back in and then look at connecting the wiring as well. And I can see that coming from the light here, the backup light, there's a red wire and then this white, I guess, wire with a black stripe. And I was pretty sure about that, but I tested the red wire and I got, with my tester, and I got that this wire is hot when the truck's in reverse. So that means I'm going to take this red wire here and splice this red wire into it, and then take this black wire from the light and splice it into the black and white wire right there. And that should do the trick. Even with the splicer I'm going to use, I do like to strip the ends of these new wires just to make sure I'm getting good metal-to-metal connection. And of course, before you put things back and put it back where it was and tape it all up and put screws back in, you want to test it. And there I've got the black tapped into the black and white wire and the red to the red. So with the truck in reverse, there we go. We've got both lights there. So the normal backup light and my additional one. So looking pretty good. So in addition to the splices, I've taped things up a bit with some electrical tape. Doesn't look that pretty, but it's stuck inside here. Just hoping for an extra little level of protection. And yeah, overall a pretty easy job. And I'm hoping that this will be a nice place that I can just kind of run that wire right through there and it'll be nice and a clean look. And as you're putting it back, make sure you get these parts here lined up. So you see that connection right there. And then down there as well. If you get those lined up, then you should be able to push it in and pop it back in place. So you can see it actually does tuck in really nicely there. So I've routed the cable here behind the Cal raised LED bracket, and it's gone down to right in there. And so there's a little gap right at the top of the taillight assembly, and that cable fits in there very nicely. So you can see the look is pretty clean. Yeah, it's not a bad look for an extra light at all. And there, for a bit of a comparison, there's the passenger side done with the additional light at the top and the LED light replacing the standard light. And you can see a comparison of the standard incandescent or whatever type of bulb it comes with, OEM from the truck, compared with the LED on the other side. And so there you go, a little before and after right in one shot. So One side down. Now I just have to do the other side. I'm trying to give some sort of indication of what it's like with these, at least just the new lights on the one side here. So I'm looking out my back window, not seeing a whole lot there. But let's see if I put this into reverse. I can actually see a good bit. Even if the camera doesn't pick it up. Let's see if you can see this from over here. So there's I'm looking out at my side view mirror. And now if I put it in reverse, you can see what you're seeing is the light on the passenger side that is being cast out there by the new LED bulb and the additional light on top. So that seems to be a noticeable difference. I can definitely see it when I look out my back window, but I can really see it when I'm looking at my side view mirror here. And I'll take it out of reverse, and you can see that. So by comparison, here I am looking at my driver's side window where I haven't, my driver's side mirror, where I haven't done any changes yet. So it's a standard OEM bulb in the backup light and no additional light. And when I put this in reverse, you can see there's a little bit of light happening there, but not that much. So that might be a good indication to see how much extra light that I'm getting with the bulbs, at least on one half so far. And this might be another good indication here. I'm not sure this is going to show up very well, but this is my little screen for my backup camera that shows up on my rear view mirror. And so if you can see on the right side, or the passenger side, you can see that kind of bright light up the top, and how everything is a bit brighter and, of course, wider light from the LED on the right, or the passenger side, and the left side, or the driver's side, is just standard. So that may give you an indication as well as to how much difference it's doing. So noticeable in the screen here, and looking outside and in mirrors. Now I've got the second one wired up, so just testing it there. There's the light, and there's my new LED bulb. So before I tape things up and put them back together, just make sure everything's working as it should. And it looks like we're all good here. So there is a view out my back window. Looks like we can see pretty much nothing. And then if I put it in reverse, well, also nothing. Although I can actually see a good bit better out the back than I could before. So there's my backup camera screen, and it's pretty bright in there. But then to show you, there's my side mirror right there, and as I go into reverse, you can see the lights turn on right there, and it's actually lighting up someone's hill a bit behind me, so it's not that close, but again, you can see the difference when the lights go off. So hopefully that is noticeable enough. I think it's quite an improvement. So there's the full effect. I have my lights turned on, and then of course set in reverse as well. So you can see the two new LED lights that are replacing the stock bulbs, and then of course the two new LED pods up above, and then also there's the LED strip at the bottom. Kind of looks a little bit like Christmas out here now. And there it is with just the reverse lights on. So that's the end result, and I'm quite pleased. I think it's good, if only just for replacing the stock reverse bulbs. But all this together should really light things up. Let me see more what I'm backing up into, and definitely let anyone or anything behind me know that I'm coming their way. So, I'm very pleased with this upgrade, and I would recommend any or all of these. By the way, as another point of reference, this light right here, this is the light from my truck being set in reverse. So the LED light pods, the upgraded LED bulbs, and then the LED light strip, which is really bright but doesn't cast a whole lot of light. So this is just from my truck's backup lights. Those are the only lights that are being turned on and pointing out this way. And since I was on Cali Raised LED's site and felt like I wasn't quite spending enough money, I thought I would try these, which you might have seen on there. So these are their climate control knobs. They'll also work for, you know, the four-wheel drive knob as well. But I just thought I would give these a try. They're not cheap by any means, and kind of see how they compare to these other ones which I'd put on, which I actually did like. So these stick out a bit more. They have a nice look. You can choose the colors on it, the color of the plastic and of these screws that go in there, and they just are there for decoration. They don't do much else. But it does look like they would be a pretty nice way to go if you have extra money sitting around and you don't know what to do with it. So we'll kind of see how they compare with these right here. And one thing you do have to do, which is a bit of a pain, is on the original factory knobs. Hopefully you still have those, because there's this little metal sleeve, almost like a little spring sleeve in there, that you have to pull out of the factory knob and then put here into these replacement ones. And it's really kind of a pain to get out. There are some good instructions and a good video on the website for the actual fabricator of these things, and you'll get that if you buy them from Cali Raised LED. But it shows you kind of how to get this out. It's a bit of a pain, but they will come out, and then you have to put it in the new ones. The idea here is that it really holds tight to the knob there, so that you can get them on, and they'll really be nice and sturdy. So that's what they say about it. And they also say there's really no other place to get these, or any way to order them by themselves. They kind of come with the Toyota knobs. So just have those on there, pull them out, and you slide them back in. You can see they kind of go in one way. But anyway, good, really good instructions on the manufacturer's website that makes these. So I'll just take this here, for example, and if I can turn my light off, there we go. So I have the light on here, and you can see how these work. They're pretty nice. The one thing I mentioned is that it's really hard to see where they are in the daytime, because this little notch here that's lit up at night, you don't really, or when you have the lights on, you can't really see it. So I took a black marker and painted a little notch right above it so I could see during the daytime. Of course, at nighttime you have this here. But if I just pull this off, there we go. And we'll take one of these new ones here, and I've got it right on the, hopefully matched up here, so it should work with pointing toward the top. Get that on. So let's take a look here at this. And it's going to have to go on that way, because there's the middle for the temperature. I got that on there. So just see if I can They say these are really supposed to be nice and tight. And I guess that's right, because I'm having some difficulty getting this on here. Well, maybe those are just supposed to be really, really tough to get on, and you just have to give them a real big push there and get them in. So you can see what they're like with the lights on there. I did like this cool ring around this. It looks nice, and you can see that that one is illuminated. It's a little dimmer, but does look a bit more orange. So if I were to turn my lights on here, you can kind of see the difference between this aftermarket version and these right here. You can get on a Cali raised LED. They do stick out a decent amount more, and they're really nice to grab. So they have these little indentations here, so it's easy to kind of grab it and move it around. So I do like that. These were nice as well. By comparison, they're a lot shorter, kind of more flush, perhaps a little bit harder to grab like that. So these are certainly a bit of an upgrade, bit of an improvement, and yeah, I do like how they feel. A little easier and more responsive to get them, as opposed to having to reach in here and get this thinner part. It does have a nice texture here, these knobs, which these aren't textured, but these little sort of indentations around these raised bits with the screws do make it nice and easy to grab hold of. And there we have all three installed. So this one was the hardest to get in for some reason. This one went in pretty easily, went on there, and this one was a little bit stiffer, but still not a problem. Actually, with this one, I was wondering if that sort of a little metal clip or retaining ring that we took out from the OEM ones made it too tight or too small. But these are nice. You say they stick out a pretty good amount, a lot more than these do. Even though these have a pretty nice feel. I feel like these might be aluminum on the outside there, but these are nice. I'm not sure if they're quite worth the price, but they are pretty cool, and everyone will know you got them. And there's, I guess, nothing else out there like it. But yeah, a bit better certainly. They are bigger and are on nice and tight. And the thing that I like is, unlike these right here, and you can see there's my little notch that I just had to draw on there with a black permanent marker. You can easily see these in the daylight with this sort of translucent plastic piece, which will light up when the lights are on. So that's the one nice feature about these, in addition to being kind of just really beefy and a nice solid and sturdy surface to grab onto. So not bad, but pricey.